everyone, and welcome to another tournament stream. Today, in the middle of the night, we're streaming NA for you, and I'm joined for that by Fujits.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm joking. Of course, I'm awake. Thank you. Why wouldn't I be awake?
Honestly, hope you've had
Hello,
your
NA.
caffeine.
I got my caffeine right in front of me. Actually, totally. It's a must.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Just to quickly explain, by the way, if you want to win one of 5 June battle passes, you have to guess the damage that APX does in this second game of this matchup. So the map is Normandy, take that into account as well, and along with who you think is winning everything, and post your in-game name, your server, and the damage that you think APX does as a whole during the second match of this matchup.
Forget to post your in-game name and server seriously, because it's really difficult if you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're not the ones. The streamers are not the ones actually going to put these into your account, guys. Wargaming do it. About your in-game name, you won't get it. Simple as that.
Also, just to say, if you've already won, don't enter, because winning more battle passes doesn't give you anything extra.
That's also true. Don't get so enthusiastic, because they're not out until the 1st of June.
Yeah, that as well. But yeah, you have until like a little bit into the first match before you need to stop guessing. So that is about 3 minutes from now. That being said, I see no entries in the chat just yet, so we'll have to see. I announced it in the chat a while ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
But we still have time, and otherwise we still have the second matchup as well to work with.
Absolutely. But yeah, like I said, they're not out till the 1st of June, guys, so don't expect them in your account like tomorrow morning or whatever.
Exactly.
You won't get them.
By the way, do you notice something about Apex's team? I'm pointing
Not really.
specifically at an IS4 and the Vickers in this case. The IS4 is less obvious, but the Vickers you should recognize.
I know the Vickers. I know who he is.
Yeah. The IS4 is Zerd.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I talked about on Strange before that I didn't really know Apex. So I understood first that it's basically it's Vince's main team. But then yesterday, Legundo actually contacted me and explained more about it. And he told me that basically Zerd and F are also playing for Apex. And they're basically out of the server region accounts, basically, that the team uses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't surprise. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of EU players on the NA server playing. I mean, Jory was there as well at one stage. I don't know where he is now, if he's still there or not.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of crossover happening these days, and I kind of like it because you also see NA stuff applied on EU and EU stuff applied to NA. But can you imagine having to just basically work and train with 2 teams in 2 different regions with horrible time zones?
And ping.
Yeah, that
Sometimes
too.
the ping isn't the best.
Like for me, if I play on NA, my ping is usually like maybe about 100, which is still very decent, but it's nothing compared to the 20 or 30 that I get on EU. But just like, as long as it's steady, it works, but you do have to adjust for it.
Yeah, you do. And I mean, I don't get the best ping on NA, to be perfectly honest with you. It's pretty difficult. Sometimes it's absolutely awful to play anything other than a heavy. So,
but you're also like more middle EU Asia server, right? So you're very far removed from NA then.
Yeah, but the irony is the internet cables for the Middle East actually go the other way. They go sort of towards Europe than they go towards Asia.
Okay.
And as I was saying the other day, I mean, I get better ping on Asia than a guy I know sat in Singapore about 2 kilometers away from where the server is, allegedly. I have no idea how that works.
Oh, no idea either. But here we go. First match, Normandy, Rain versus Apex. My first time seeing Apex play this season. Actually, at all. Because it is still a fairly new team. But like I said, it's mainly main pincer mixed with EU now. And we see Rain basically holding, wanting to see where they are. And going into D, but Apex is very quickly capping base C, and they will have a point advantage that way.
Well, I mean, I love this map. I think this map is is probably one of the best maps on the tour circuit. It's nice, it's big, it's wide. It gives the clans and the teams plenty of options.
Dreadlicious getting punished there for peeking out. Zerd playing quite forwards again.
Zerd will be Zerd.
Yeah. And to be fair, most often, it very much works for him. He can be the sacrificial lamb at times, but he usually gets stuff done.
Yeah, he does. Well, he is Zerd.
Yeah, that is very true. We have Komi protecting base A, so that's a no-go. They don't know that yet, but still. And basically, Apex has a very slight point advantage here.
I'm liking. I'm not liking. I don't. Liking's the wrong word. I'm intrigued that. I mean, if you look at EFXD, teams recently have been doing that a lot with their mediums and their lights, sticking them in those corners where you would normally see a TD in public matches, just to cover those caps. It's always been intriguing.
Yeah. And I do want to point out, do not do this in randoms. This only works in tournaments because you have a full team. You know, but look at this. Now TJ is going in.
Doing the same.
Komi is going to spot him. I'm not sure if he's going to get reset. Komi is working on it, for sure. With HE, he does it. And now TJ is like, let's not be here.
Because Coma's in a great little hold down position, and unfortunately Fadu, who's the cover there, can't really do much onto that.
But now we have TJ switching positions a little bit, and Mui actually moving in instead. With an IS forward, they might get away with that as well. Especially since the first shot is missed by both camper at the back and person at the front.
Shot by Komi there to reset.
Yeah. And they could potentially... Oh, now they're capping together. That's going to be more tricky to reset. Yeah. And he's actually focusing on TJ rather than Mui. And they've got the base because of that. And so far, on the other side of the battle, really not much is happening. They're just waiting. But now, Rain has a base advantage, so they're going to get points more. They just need to protect base A as well. But they've got tanks in place for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, Apex is now making a move with Akka and Chips. Not going to A, they're going to try and go through the mid. No, they are going to A now. I thought they were going to try and cut off Wide Mui, but they're not. No, they are. They're trying to cut them off a little bit.
I think they're hoping to catch TJ as he goes somewhere. And then maybe get A afterwards. Now we have Komi moving in. Neither TJ or Moe is close. So that means that they're going to lose that base. Unless Fadu gets a magic shot in. And now they've got the base back. And this is basically now the pressure will be on Rain again. And we see Rain moving into the middle. We see APX responding in kind. Shots happening. Moe in a questionable position there. Hated Fate being very forward here. But he's on his own. That could be very tricky. APX is using their speed boost to get around. Zaytu losing a whole lot of health there. Probably didn't expect 2 campers at the back there.
Dreadalicious is in a little bit of isolation here, as you can see. So
yeah, but basically
he's being smacked around quite a bit.
Rain is overextending here, and that is very dangerous for them. Look at the HP just vanish on their tanks. They got Dreadalicious, but at what cost?
Well, the cost is that they're probably going to lose Hated Fate.
Yeah, but they've already lost Moe and Zaytu as well. I mean, something's got to give. They have to do something, because Apex is now at, well, 890 points again. But this sort of thing, it is very, very dangerous.
CJ as well now. It's 3 now. Fadu's about to go down as well. He's got a 1 shot. So,
and even with that kill, they're at 930 points. This battle is pretty much for Apex. And there's nothing they can do about it. Well, there we go.
It's totally for them now, yes.
I get that Rain pushed, you had to do something, but in this case the push felt uncoordinated and a bit chaotic. And basically Apex made full use of that.
Yes, they did. And, you know, this is what they do. And it was interesting to see that Apex were taking their time. They weren't trying to rush anything. They weren't trying to force anything either. Which is, some of the clans, those early doors, do like to force things, but no. These guys didn't. And it worked out for them. Simple as that.
Oh yeah, I also need to say stop guessing. I forgot to do that in battle. I'll just say it in chat now. Stop guessing. Forgot to say on voice. But just basically to reiterate the mods. I think I thought of it. This is what happens when you get like very little sleep or invested in the battles and basically forget everything else.
It does happen. But yeah, you're right, it does. It can be tricky.
Too many guesses right now. Should be fine, to be honest, because we still have the second matchup to give away the rest. Even if we have a few guesses. Basically, this is the thing. People usually come in throughout the stream. So at the very beginning of the stream, you hardly ever have a full crowd, so to speak.
This is true, but when you do a giveaway, this is where you should have people. This is why you should join the stream early, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Easy battle passes to win. But here we go, into the second match we go, and we see that Rain has brought out their mouse.
That doesn't surprise me. Well, it does actually on Normandy.
Normandy can be quite tricky, but I would expect that mouse to hold near, what is it? Base C then.
Yeah, not many other places you can take.
Exactly. There's lots of lines of fire into it if you take it to B. But look where the mouse spawned. This is the downside of random spawns. Oof, they're not gonna like that. Apex again going for the quick cap. Rain pushing very aggressively. And they might just push straight into them to take those guns out early. Half of Apex team is not there. So they might get away with it too. Look at this.
They may catch Tommy, but I don't think they're going to catch.
No,
Tommy and
catching Tommy.
Oh no, Akka's up against the house. Tommy's, yeah, they're catching Tommy.
Hated Fate lost a lot of HP as well. Tommy is next up. The mouse is being set upon by Dreadalicious, but he's the only one going for that. F is moving in with the V. This is very aggressive gameplay by Rain, but it might just pay off.
Maybe. I mean, the Tommy is about to go down.
Chipotle is pushed next.
There you go. There's what the mouse happens to do. It drags 3 guns out of the game.
That is very
Also gets a
interesting.
lot of it. He
I
also takes a lot of hit points out the game.
I did
At the
not
expense of
expect
3 tanks, though.
I did not expect Apex to send 3 tanks into a mouse when the rest of their team is being slaughtered. Hated Fate is probably not going to survive this battle, but we have 6 guns versus 3 guns. One of them is a Vickers, another is a T-22. Vickers...
And there is the danger. If you go after the mouse, then the 3 that went after the mouse are the 3 that were left alive, and they are not going to survive.
This is very, very risky gameplay, but high risk, high payoff in this case. And Radalicious, the last one alive, dies. And I'm very curious to see how much damage they got in, actually, because this is the battle that the giveaway is about.
Well, we know they got at least over 3,000.
Yeah, no, they got 8,000 in total. 8,812. That is the score. And to be fair, I am surprised. This was such aggressive gameplay by Raid. Beautiful to see, to be fair, because it worked perfectly.
It did, but I'm surprised with the caliber of the Apex guys. Knowing who most of them are, but they were sucking it onto that mouse. To be honest with you,
I did not expect them to go there. I expected one maybe to go there to avoid the mouse entering the fray as well. But it was a surprise that it took 3 tanks. And that was way too many guns out of the equation for the rush from Rain.
it was, and it surprised me as well. Knowing what they know, and at the same time, the tanks that were being pushed, just they had no chance really. Not when the entire team of Rain are pushing down on you like that in such an aggressive manner.
And to be fair, when you see a coordinated push like that, it's actually beautiful.
Yeah, it is, and the teams are in 2 minds. What do they do? Do they now change their game plan and rotate round and try and sort of catch them off the guard? And it's always a tricky one for them.
Mm-hmm.
Get that? I understand that.
And we are moving on to Middelburg. I think that is the first time that I've seen that in these stages.
First time you've seen what? Sorry.
Middelburg as a map.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's the first time it's come round.
And we see his royal fatness in the bat chat. That's always dangerous.
It is.
We've seen what he can do with less than 100 hit points left.
The bat chat, yeah. Exactly.
Let's see. His royal fatness going to spot, but there's going to be 2 Kranwagens and a Vickers there. But basically, he's doing a round of spots.
And he's giving FXD a hard time at the same time.
Yeah, and managing to not get hit by Commie. And now he's like, let's not be here, or maybe just hold here. Most of Rain is in the hills, though. And I think Fatness not running away is sort of giving that away.
It is, but I like the way that Apex are just holding their crown wagons back here.
Yeah.
Hoping that Rain would sucker in. Unfortunately, Akka did get spotted. That would have been a nice surprise for Rain as they came around the corner in to see.
Exactly. Now we have Apex regrouping towards base C. They have a point advantage of about 50 points. And that's gotta feel good, because that means they basically have a tank's worth of advantage here.
FXD looks like he's trying to he's looking around the beach, seeing if there's anything there. Hasn't spotted anything because TJ's right in the back corner.
And that is the thing. If you don't spot anyone when you're driving around in the Vickers, you can be fairly certain that pretty much all of the team is up there. And they'd be right.
Would, but now we've got his Royal Fatness dropping down towards the B cap.
Yeah, because they kind of need to try and get that advantage.
Is he gonna change places with TJ, or no? He's not. He's gonna go. No, he's looking for the spots as well. He's doing exactly the same as what EFXD is doing.
That, and he's taking the long way around to not get spotted immediately.
And EFXD has decided that well, better join the rest of them up top because nobody's down here.
Yeah. So he's going across the hills and everything.
Fatness is thinking the same thing, but now Z2 is being suckered down into the B area as well.
He's probably going in to make that cap. But he might get lit up by the F there. If he goes down further. And he does. And now we see Apex pushing.
That, yeah. Well, now they know that not everybody's down, not everybody's up here. They're going to push into C.
Yeah.
You know, that's just a very wise move.
We see reactive armor, speed boost, wiggling. They are losing HP for it, but now they have 2 bases. It's going to be impossible unless Rain decides to focus on the city side instead for them to get it back.
EFXD's put himself in a good spot to see if anything's going to go down there now.
Yeah.
And he spotted TJ. He didn't spot that Fatness because he's in a back chat and he's right at the almost redlining it down there to get to the B cap.
Yeah, and they really need both those caps, and A cap first and foremost, and now we see the F kind of wanting to go down, but not actually going down. Z2 is in a questionable position here. Rain is counter-pushing.
They're doing well as well. I mean, Commie and Aka lost a shedload of hit points, and so Dreadalicious is sort of going to go down here.
But it's costing them a lot as well. Health-wise, the tanks aren't doing too good. Fadu is almost gone. Next reload he will be. And they're actually getting in each other's way, which is also not going to help. Fadu still alive, if barely. There he goes. Tommy is almost gone. It's vital for Rain to keep their tanks alive at this stage. They are taking base C as well, so basically Apex is not getting any more points from bases. And now we have external moving in there. Basically, this is brilliant gameplay by Rain. I did not expect it to go this well for them.
What did I? Apex's focus fire seems to be a little bit off, and I'm looking at my ping and packet loss and wondering if they're struggling at the same time. What's your ping and packet loss like?
My ping is like 130, which is normal for NA. But I'm like, this is the second game where I'm kind of wondering how Rain got away with it. I mean, by all means, beautifully played, very well done. It is Rain.
Yeah,
So, in that way, no surprise. But I'm more surprised at Apex not absorbing it as well as they should, or making a decision like with the 3 tanks on the mouse that I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, Apex had that game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they
theirs.
did.
They had control of it, and then the push came, and they just seemed to lose everything.
Yeah. So basically, put his royal fatness in the back chat, and the game is won.
Seems that way. As I said, I mean, like I said, I've got some packet loss. I don't know if they've got the same as well, but it didn't seem as fluid from Apex, to be honest.
Yes. In the meantime, we have 5 winners from the battle passes. We have Aquanite 510, Star Platinum, Mio, Stars, and Dwarf NZ. So those are the 5 winners from the first battle passes. Next matchup we'll give away some more.
There you go. Congratulations, you guys. Yay.
Yes. And do you see the lineup that Apex is going for now?
On Middleburg.
Yeah.
Why does that not surprise me?
They can make
Okay.
it work, but it will be tricky.
That ain't gonna be easy.
It's all about whether or not they get that burst damage in, basically.
They're very restricted on where they can go with those crown dragons, to be fair. They can't go all over the map with them. They know this.
Mm-hmm.
And Rain will see that and say, "Oh, hello. It's not best. We could go to C and just totally wipe them out, or we could avoid C and just take everything in the center and let them come down to us."
Yeah, Apex is thinking... This was actually beautiful. I started behind the F, and you saw all 5 Crown Dragons turn simultaneously towards the hill. That was actually beautiful footage. But yeah, now Fatness has to be very careful. He did light pretty much all of them up now, so they know that the majority of them will be in the hills.
You can see here, I mean, Rain had a choice. Do we go up and just face them, or do we sort of not bother?
And they seem kind of conflicted about it, with the way that their tanks are positioned and where they're putting them. Base A has been capped, that gives Rain an advantage. Base B has not been capped, and we have Dreadlicious to actually pull back to avoid getting spotted. So basically, they don't know exactly where he is.
No, but at the moment, Rain do have the advantage on the base points. They did cap pretty quickly, and now they're moving up to try and protect that flank without getting spotted. Although Z2 has now been spotted.
Yeah, but it stands to reason that it wouldn't be completely undefended here. They will also know, with the way that they have been spotted, that Fatness is still there as well.
Oh yeah.
And we see Apex responding now. Basically, his Royal Fatness getting the blip out of there. And now we have Commie crossing over, losing quite a bit of HP for that. But it also meant that all 5 tanks protecting the flank have been spotted. Base B is now being capped. And we see Fatness and TJ moving in to deal with that.
They may catch Dreadlicious here. Look at the way Fatness is going. He's going quite wide, actually.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Unspotted, get around the back of Dreadlicious. That's a great tracking shot.
Double track on both sides. Dreadlicious is turning around, which means that Fatness gets another shot in. Base B is being stolen. This is basically beautiful 2-timing. But now we have Eka moving in as well. But base B will be for Rain. Glory, on the other hand, is losing a lot of HP as well. They are focus firing him for sure, and he was out of position as well, which doesn't help.
Yeah, he was.
Rain pushed into Apex's forces, and I think that especially when you think you're a tank down, because they didn't know that there was a second tank coming to help Dreadlicious, I'm surprised they did that.
I'm surprised as well, to be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, they finally got rid of Dreadlicious, and Akira is going to go down here as well. But they've lost 2 tanks to the price of 1 at the moment.
Yeah. And they're going to lose more. There goes external. And it is 4 versus 4, but HP-wise, well, to be fair, it is 870 points. So as long as the 2 in the town survive, especially his Royal Fatness, then they should have this.
Well, they are going to have this, because even Hated Fate going down there, they've still not got the bases. It's as simple as that.
So it might have been very clever gameplay, but I still don't quite understand why they pushed against the push rather than let the push come to them, so to speak, because I think that they lost quite a bit because of that. But at 990 points, Rain still has it.
Maybe they did it to stop anybody going down to the B cap to take on in a help Dreadalicious. Maybe that's
True.
why they did it.
That
If that
might
is
be
the
the case.
reason, then that is an amazing gameplay.
Yeah,
Because
then
that you're then sacrificing a majority of your tanks.
to keep the advantage. Which sounds really weird, but that is basically what happened here. It was
is basically what
very
happened.
clever in that way. If it was like a full conscious decision, I want to believe that it is. I'm not entirely certain.
Because when you look at it, damage was dished out by Apex, not by Rain.
Yeah.
Rain. I mean, TJ. I think it was Royal Fatness was a one shot. I think Dragon Krieg was losing hit points as well.
Dragon
TJ,
Krieg
one
ended
of the
on
two
10
were.
HP.
There you go. So in Royal Fatness was a one shot. TJ was quite healthy, but not overly healthy. And then we have 4 tanks on Apex's side. So if that was the strat, then it worked like a charm because they won, and they won on the base points, which is one of the glories about supremacy. It's not always about the damage.
Yeah, exactly. It's, to be fair, it is very clever. I do kind of wonder how conscious it was, but it worked out beautifully. I'm also surprised at Apex not handling the cap situation.
Yeah, well, there is that, and well, this is what I'm saying. I mean, I think at the end of the day, what happened there was we have very clever play by Rain.
Yeah.
Very clever play. Saying, let's not wait for them to move. Let's move now, and that forces them in their cram wagons, which is they're not the fastest. Admittedly, they've got the super duper speed boost, but they're not the fastest. Without it, once that's gone, then we can then take the B cap, take the A cap, and beat them on caps.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. So fair play, great move, very cleverly done.
This is actually funny. Someone said she said 5 winners, but only announced 3 names. I actually mentioned 5 names. Some of the names were pretty short. Maybe that's. Oh well. Oh, that was funny.
That happens.
Yeah.
Short names.
Anyhow, Pramo beat Jokers 3-1. So
Oof.
the next match that we have is Apex versus Jokers.
Oof.
And then
What are the guys doing?
tomorrow we started off again with Pramo versus Rain, which is always a joy.
Yeah, it is. Pramo against Rain. That's going to be an interesting one. Yes.
Yes.
That is always a fun matchup.
Yes. And in the meantime, the challenges bit is still going on. The wrong one. Let's see what OG is doing. That is, by the way, being streamed by Jack and Peter. Not sure on whose channel they are right now. But still, we have about 22 minutes to go before the next matchup, so I'm going to show you some replays. And what better replays to show you than NA replays? I actually got 2 in the mouse from the legend that has been helping me with the giveaways right now. He's actually become a mod on my channel specifically to help me with the giveaways, so that is very much appreciated.
Who's that?
Button.
Oh, buttons.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Then. Yeah, it's incredibly difficult to do these giveaways without mods.
Yeah.
I found out the other day in Asia.
I could potentially do it myself, but I do really try to have one mod on specifically for the giveaways, just so that I don't have to worry about it. And it's a huge help.
Mm-hmm. No, it is, and as I said, I mean, I tried to do it the other day on Asia, and it was very difficult.
Yeah.
was not easy because what you do, it distracts you from the commentary. And there's lots of times where you're going back through the chat and then you're very quiet and it's like, ooh, what's happening?
Yeah, exactly.
As you're trying to work out who's won what and who said what and who did what.
And you need to brain so much because you have to think about the numbers, how far are they off and everything. So yeah, it's a lot nicer to not have to worry about that. But that, to be fair, I'm not sure that's the same for you. I'm always so incredibly grateful for the mod team that I have on my streams, because I also have Joda Jetamaster looking out for me right now, and it's just to be able to stream without having to worry about the chat, not just the giveaway, but just also to not have to worry about the chat and everything. It just makes streaming so much easier for us.
Oh, indeed. I mean, they're the unsung heroes of the streams.
Yeah. So I'm actually glad that most of them have managed to pick up a battle pass as well through these giveaways by guessing damage. And yes, that's all happened legit and like properly and all of that just before anyone asks. Because I do see the guesses come in, so I know that that's going well as well. In the meantime, this is a very interesting game. We have a mouse on Canal, and that is buttons. And basically he's been spotting, so he's gotten quite a bit of assisted damage. And he's not really moved from his position. Yeah. He's done 2.7k assisted damage now by spotting.
Wow.
So that is really funny, to be honest.
It is. It's not something you get that much. You don't normally get a lot of spotting damage in a mouse. Not gonna lie.
This is where going into the right position can work out really well for you. So now he's sort of like overlooking, trying to find where the rest of them are. We know that there's a Yege somewhere who has not yet been spotted. Oh, there he is. But it's just like, I like being quite forwards with super heavies as well. You can really do a lot by being forwards. It's the same way that I drive my CDs. I don't pretty much camp. I just always, well, I don't go YOLO, but I'm just always pretty forwards with it. And for me, that works so much better than sitting at the back. And now he's actually using his armor to troll the Yege, which is also beautiful to see. What for you are the kind of games you look for? Like, there's always games you will enjoy more than others. So what are the type of games that you enjoy the most?
It's always been a toss-up. A lot of people say to me, why do you only want high damage games for replays? And I say no. I actually look for games whereby it's interesting gameplay, something different. Yeah. Because sometimes with the high damage games, and it's a mixed bag. Sometimes you are going to be watching a great player do amazing things to get that high damage, but 9 times out of 10. Even as a great player doing high damage, you still need a team of potential muppets to let you get the high damage sometimes.
Exactly.
And I've seen massive damage being dished out when there's been an AFK, and not being funny, it doesn't take a lot of skill to kill an AFK. So I prefer the games where it's really, really good, clever gameplay. Something different. Whether it's like you got there, you got a mouse doing spotting damage. I mean, that's not normal.
Yeah.
And one of the endgame guys sent me a fantastic replay in a 113, where how he survived is beyond me. Well, it's not really. He's endgame, but
But yeah,
he
I
does a
get you.
113, and he gets 7 kills. Yeah, he shouldn't have got 7 kills because it was 1v6.
Oh,
I'm not
that's
joking. It was
amazing.
1v6 on Canyon of all places.
To be fair, that map does allow for it, depending on their position and his position. Not saying that it is easy, absolutely not. But like, I can see that work on Canyon.
Yeah, he was in a 113. And I'm not saying it's not going to work, but he was in the middle at where the B cap is, and that's pretty difficult in a 113 with its amazing gun depression. To be fair.
But to be able to be allowed to get away with that, basically, as a 113.
Indeed. And these are the sort of game, and that was a high damage game. It was a Raz, but it was a 1v6 effectively for a great majority of the game. These are the games I'm more interested in
Yeah. For me,
rather than the massive high damage games.
yeah, that's same. I like games where it's like out of the box. Same thing that I like about my tournament games and everything. But just games that aren't typical games. I look at XP way more than damage. You can have a fantastic game with 3k damage in tier 10. That is a lot more entertaining to watch than a 7k game.
Exactly. And this is the thing I look for. And, it's not always. People say to me, why don't you, why is it that when you do some of your replays on the streams, they're not always masteries? Because you can still have a great game without getting an ace.
Yeah. I always tell people, like, they ask, is this a good enough game? And I'm like, is it epic? And they're always kind of like afraid to answer, but that's basically what I look for. It's not all about the XP. If you have an epic 1 versus 3 and you clutch it just right, you could have done very little damage before, but it can make the game.
Exactly. I'm the same. That's what I look for. I'm looking for those type of games. Moreover than I sat at the back on, for example, on Dead Rail in my Jaegeroo and did 8k.
Yeah.
But did you move from the position? Well, no. Then it's a boring game, isn't it? It's all you've done is sat at the back and waited for less experienced players to come over the top. That doesn't make for interesting gameplay.
No, exactly. And at the same thing, by the way, I have another mouse replay from Buttons that I'm showing right now. And he's very, very forwards. And he's tracking people and he's spotting half the team and everything. It's fantastic. I like it when you use a super heavy that way. It's not just a powerhouse that can hold, it can do so much more.
I mean, it's my favourite tank in the game as well, the mouse. To
Really?
be honest with you, yeah, it is. That's why Yusuf drew an amazing picture of a mouse.
That actually makes sense.
For my opening stream. And and a lot of people moan about it. It's a mouse. But it's not a one-trick pony. It's not just about the damage, the massive amounts of HP that it's got. It's not. And the trick with the mouse is, once you know how to play it, you can have some great battles in it. And it's not just about being a meat shield.
No, exactly. So far, he's done 5.2k damage. He's only now taken his first damage. And he's bounced the Jaeger twice so far. He's blocked 4.4k damage. He's been forwards, he's tracked, he's spotted. These are just the kind of beautiful games. He's double tagging a Jaeger and a 11114. Now his team is moving in, but so far it's basically been a let's do this all on my own game, and it working out as well, because he's finishing with 2300 HP. He's done 6.6k damage. He didn't get the kills, but he pretty much got everything else.
And that's the thing. I mean, this is clever mouse play. This is showing you somebody who knows how to play the mouse properly.
Yeah. This is
But he
not
says
me.
in the, I mean, he does say in the chat. He does say in the chat, I'm basically driving forward and hoping I don't get farmed. But that's one of the tricks with the mouse. Don't
Yeah.
be shy with it. And if you know to angle it, if you know its angles, if you know that its vulnerability is the bottom plate and the cheeks, because they will get penned with Pramo, then you can have great fun in a mouse being aggressive.
Yeah. By the way, shall we go for Joker this time?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So guess the damage Joker does the second game of the matchup. Post your in-game name, your server, and your exact damage guess to win one of 5 June battle passes. Begin. So basically saying that you still have about 10 minutes left to make that guess from when you hear me say this to actually the end. When I say it at the right time this time. But to be fair, it's see, I'm not sure if you're also like watching the stream with the delay and everything, but especially this game
Yes.
on Camp Stilla, it is beautiful the way that he does it. It's ridiculous that he gets away with it, but it's beautiful how he does it.
I'm watching it. Yeah, it's.
Also,
It's like I was saying yesterday. With the, I understand to an extent why they started giving these super consumables to the British tanks. At the same time, the British tanks like the FV are finesse tanks, and they require skill and dedication to play that tank to get the best out of it. And by basically patching it, make it easier to play, it isn't helpful. And the tank a dishonest service.
yeah.
And it's the same with most of the tier 10s. And this is why I keep harping on to players. Don't rush through the tiers, guys. Because you're doing yourself no favours, really. You're getting those big guns, but what's the point of having a big gun when you don't know how to play it? Because you're going to be out of the game before you can get the big gun into action.
Yeah. The thing is, I always have massive respect for anyone that can drive a rear-mounted turret tank properly. Like, I won't do, like, super bad in it, because that's basically my skill level right now. I'm not saying that I'm, like, epic or anything, but I can make stuff work. I can't make it work beautifully, not like this.
No, I mean, it's that's the way. You know, these players can make these tanks kind of work. And one of the things I'm doing with Asia when I do my streams on Asia is I'm effectively free to play, so I'm not free XPing the lines, and I'm showing people that look, if you just play the game and grind your way to the next tank. Firstly, you're going to be a better player because you're just playing the same tank over and over again.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm doing. I'm just doing a single line. So at the moment, I'm going on to the E5. So all I've done, and okay, I was a bit naughty because I didn't hang around in the bottom tiers because they're pretty cheap to get. So from tier 6 onwards, I didn't use any free XP, just grinded all the way through, even going out stock. And what I'm trying to show the guys is, staying in the tank stock is painful. Don't get me wrong; it's not the best. But the more used to the tank you become, the easier it is to play the next tank once you unlock it.
That is very true. To be fair... Sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, go on.
I always have to think about the J Panther 2 and the Ferdinand in the Jaeger line. You always see people, what should I drive? And a lot of people say J Panther 2 because it's better. And they're not wrong, But if you want to go down the line, the Ferdinand is the right choice because it fits the line so much better. And if you go from the J Panther 2 to the Jagdtiger, it will go like feeling from going from a Formula 1 car to a snail. And the Ferdinand basically prepares you more for the Jagdtiger, and the Jagdtiger prepares you for the Jaeger.
Correct.
And etc. And by all means, get both things because the J Panther 2 is great fun. But if you're grinding the line, that sort of stuff should be taken into account too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally. It's like somebody once said to me, driving any tank stock is something to be avoided. And I said,
Yeah.
no, I don't agree with that. When you're grinding, and somebody once said, oh, but the ST1 is the worst tank to grind, and stock is just awful. Well, again, I disagree because I went out on it in Asia when I was grinding my way to the IS4 and got a match in it in a tier 9, tier 10 game. The more you get used to the tank, the easier it is for you. It's that straightforward.
That being said, I will fully admit to being a full gold noob. I free XP and gold everything. And it's really bad. My very first line was the Jaeger line. The Ferdinand told me to convert free XP to get the parts. The Jagdtiger told me that I should gold my crew. This was the first line. So I'm a very bad example. I do fully get what you're saying. And I didn't start free XP in tanks until I got quite a bunch of them already. And I think that's important too, because it is true that the more you play a tank, the more you get a feel for it. I don't necessarily think you have to drive them stock. I mean, the game, if you have the free XP, I do generally advise you to free XP parts, not tanks. They do make the tank a whole lot better. Same with crew and crew skills and all of that. But you don't have to. If you're a beginning player, I think you actually learn a lot more by not doing that. So I fully agree there.
Yeah, I'm doing it on purpose when I do the streams in Asia to show basically. When I first started this game, I did what everybody did, and I grinded multiple lines at the same time, which was just daft. To be honest with you, it wasn't a good idea. Now, it's horrible. Now, I'll be honest with you, the grind, because firstly, because you get this sort of newbie MM from 0 to 100 battles. When you've done 100 battles in a particular tank, going back down to the bottom tiers again then becomes traumatic.
Yeah.
Because you have long waiting times to get into a game. Which is why I was free. Which is why I've made me free XP tiers 1 to 4 on almost every line. Because it's just painful to get into the games.
But this is
Whereas
also
back in the old days, you didn't have that problem. If you know
exactly. I understand wargaming introducing newbie MM because I do think it keeps people in the game for longer when they just start. At the same time, it gives them a very warped idea of the game and how good they are. There are a lot of people that have just lost their newbie MM and then really start complaining about matchmaking and everything.
Exactly.
Because that's the first time they actually meet proper teams. Well, not proper teams, they made actual teams.
It is a false sense of security.
Yeah, so I get wargaming doing it. I think it's a very bad thing that they're doing it.
No, I don't disagree with you on that.
In the meantime, we're in the room. We're getting ready for Apex versus Jokers.
We are indeed.
On Yukon. I kind of like Yukon. It is fairly small still, to my taste. But it's got a lot of different areas, and that makes it interesting.
Yukon is an interesting map. And it's one of those things. Public games and tournaments are two different things. I mean, in the public games, you get a lot of people going towards the waterfall. Generally don't get that in tournaments. You may get one or two with that strat, but it's generally not the way they go. And it's just interesting to see how maps do change tournament to tournament from public.
That is so
But I do
good.
like Newcom.
I do really like that though, because it keeps things very, very interesting. Mainly because it also gives you new things to try out on when you go into pub battles. At the same time, you have to be careful because you do not have the support that the teams here do. So that's always something to keep in mind. But there's just a whole bunch of maps where that happens.
That's true. I mean, this is this is one of the glories of tournaments, and I keep saying to people, don't do the same type of things that these guys are doing. Like we said on Normandy, don't camp at the back with a light or a medium. But watch what these guys do and where they put their tanks, because they put them in a position for a reason.
Exactly, and that stuff you can take away from tournaments and use. You have to use your brain as well, like take into account that you don't have that support. But especially spotting positions and everything, that is something you can really learn from watching tournaments. And here we go. First battle of this matchup. That also means stop guessing now. And we see Apex focusing pretty much entirely on the base A side, only sending ammo racks into base B. And we have Jokers pretty much doing the same thing, but then on the other side, almost everyone going towards base D. And we only see one lone mouse heading towards base C. And if they smell that he's alone, I fear for the life of that mouse. He's actually not going to C. He's watching over C.
They're doing the they're doing the D strat where it looks on it.
Yeah, and that is interesting.
They'll probably rotate through the middle.
The mouse didn't take base B.
Raindrop back.
Yeah. And now they're basically both capping a base. There will be a split difference between them, but that's basically not going to do much of anything. And now only is base B being taken. This is, to be fair, it's highly interesting to see because you don't see this very often.
But look how Joker are now rotating their tanks back into their spawn, all on overlook down the flank and at the C cap.
I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with that, because they will have to basically have a sort of blitzkrieg in order to make this work. As soon as one of them gets spotted, which is now, they know that they're going to be there. He's the external, playing it carefully, wanting to know who else is there. 2 Kranwagens so far that he knows. But with C being taken, they know that there's more tanks there.
Confused Apex.
Yeah.
But they've confused Apex. We got Dreadalicious and Commie now thinking, are they coming down this flank? And they moved into that position, and then they're like, well, maybe they're not. And Chips was also heading that direction.
But this is the thing.
Yeah.
They still have the biggest advantage, Apex, so it will be up to Jokers to actually make a move and do something.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a cheeky shot by Raindrop there. But all in all, Apex is content to just hold, because they don't need to do anything. It's not up to them to change this around. We have the Vigors from Jokers overlooking base D, now starting to move again, but that's mainly just to secure the base there. Jokers is rotating around again. And sort of like preparing a wolfpack thing, but I'm not sure what for, because they're going to be spotted long before they do anything. I think they also want to know where Apex's forces are. And right now, they don't know.
Going for the B cap.
Yeah,
they're
but not...
They're going to send Blacktail's Catty into the middle to feint them. I think they're going through the middle. That could work.
Just look at this. Dreadalicious. Yeah, he's spotted now. And we
He's
have
now
the
going to think that's
AMX.
just Wabbit.
The AMXs
And
are
now he's,
behind
oh,
there.
look at this. Oh, is he going to push onto Wabbit? And if so, he'll see the E5s of Gyaro and Assassin.
Yeah, there we go. Now, those have been spotted. They did no damage, though. And we see an immediate reaction. The Kronwagers are now moving in. They're going after ammo racks. Whitetail's heading into another direction. Not sure.
This is
He's also
actually
getting stuck. They're now leaving the mouse. Basically, Yaro is almost gone. He is gone. That was an ammo rack. External gun taken out. And pretty much anything can still happen. Rabbit needs to really not be there.
Yeah, Assassin's going to go. Simple as that. But Wabbit needs to get out of there, but he's a bit stuck. He's a bit stuck there.
He could have just run away. I'm not sure why he... Well, now he's getting tracked, of course, but I'm not sure why he didn't run away. They have 3 bases. It's 920 points. They need to get the kills in. And they need to really survive. They're now going to focus Dreadlicious, who might have gotten chewed off more than he can process. That's not the right word, but I can't think of the right term. Yeah. And there he goes, 975 points.
Whitetails is play by Joker. This has been good play by Joker. They've got it.
They've got it. That is so clever, though. I actually thought that Whitetails going down would still put the points back down again, but oh my god.
That was good play. You know, I mean, pushing into the B cap and effectively drawing the entire Apex team to them and allowing then the Crown Wagons to push through that middle area and take the A cap at the same time. So not only did they take tanks down, but they took the A cap. Won the game. So very clever play indeed.
And that also means that the score for the giveaway is 14,097. Oh no, this was the first game. Never mind me. I'm half brain dead, to be honest. So don't mind me. That is not the score for the giveaway. But this was very clever. To be fair, I think also that ammo rack really made a difference in this case. But that's RNG for you.
It is. It goes that way.
"46 seconds. Now we see Chipotle taking out his mouse. They've got to be surprised that that went that way, to be honest. Both teams, to be fair.
Yeah.
It was definitely interesting.
No, it's a very clever play. But this is where the coordination at this level comes in, because without the coordination of saying, right, we're going to push into B and drag them out. While we do that, you push the middle and get to the A cap, it wouldn't have worked.
No, and I actually thought they were going to focus the mouse, but then they decided to... This was, I think, mid-push, there was a different call, and in this case, that call made all the difference. Beautifully played. And now we have Apex speed boosting their way towards base A. DF heading towards base D. And going to get spotted by Wabbit probably. But they're gonna know with 2 figures that base D is not going to be uncontested, I think. Wabbit not wanting to be there. DF having gotten spotted is also out of there. And we see the first lines of fire happening, but no damage being done just yet. Base C now being taken.
Joker now moving through the center with Raindrop and Assassin.
Yeah, base D is being taken, but that also means that DF is being drawn back towards base D. He might not get away with it. Whiteheel's losing a lot of HP as he pushes over to the next building, trying to get Komi on his own. Joker is making a push, and it's understandable that they have to. Sorry.
Oh, Komi's really getting punished.
Yeah, and there he goes. But the amount of HP that Joker's lost doing that, though, that is very dangerous as well. And now, basically, they're ignoring the tanks in front of them to try and save Whitetails.
Wabbit wins the battle against DFXD.
That's also very important. Look at what Raindrop is doing, by the way.
No. Very, very clever. Dreadalicious is... Oh! I was about to say then, Dreadalicious is doing great protection there on external, but wasn't counting on the tanks coming from the back. Poor old Tommy here. I mean, Raindrop can just stay there as long as he wants, or they just whittle down chips, because Tommy just can't do anything.
And now it's just Tommy and Dreadalicious versus 5 guns. And pretty much, I really feel for Tommy here. This is, again, very clever. And now he's doing the same to Dreadalicious. Oh. I like it when they can handle it with a bit of humor, to be fair. But in this case, I feel that the man of the match is Raindrop. Just for doing that. He basically stopped an attack twice. And just occupied a tank literally on his own who couldn't do anything.
This is when it comes into, this is why it's not always about the caller. You've got to have own game as well. Yeah. You've got to be mindful of that. And there's no way a caller would have turned around and said, trap him.
Yeah, exactly. He did that all on his own. And that also means, by the way, the actual score for the giveaway is 18,130. But that is beautiful gameplay, to be fair. It is it's very funny gameplay as well. But that is the kind of brain that you need in your teammates when you play tournaments. And I'm not saying that any of these guys do not have that. But I mean, like, in general, if you're building a tournament team, the first step is making them listen to the caller. The second step is also making them develop their own sense of what needs to be done.
Yes.
Because you need both to make a tournament team work well.
Yeah, you do. But this is why somebody was saying to me, oh, why do they only pick, really good players with great win rates and good battle damage? It's for that reason.
Yeah, it's not even about the win rate, but basically the stats in this case reiterate what a person can do on their own.
Yeah, totally.
And that's what you want them to do in battle. So with 13 seconds left to go before we go on to Winter Malinovka for the third battle, there's a potential match point for Jokers here.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
If they win this next match, that means that Apex is out.
Yep, that's the harsh reality.
Let's see. And we see a gorilla, which is special on its own. And to be fair, Apex is definitely not sticking to like the set boundaries of what you can do and where you can go. But so far, it's not really working out for them.
No.
Let's see. Apex focusing primarily on the looks like C and B side, whereas Jokers is a bit more spread out. DF getting some spots in. And in this case, I think that Apex needs to be certain of that cap advantage, which I think they're going to get away with because neither B nor C is being overlooked or protected by Jokers.
Jokers are worried about where that grill is.
Yeah, and I can get that. But they're also moving further. I think they expect to find the grill in spawn, maybe.
Yeah, I think they're worried about that. And they're saying, well, no point pushing into the middle just yet because maybe, just maybe, the grill is overlooking between the B and the C cap.
Yeah, but they spotted the Kranwagens there. So the Kranwagens are not going to be happy with that. But at the same time, they didn't get shotted by the grill either.
It's true.
Tommy taking quite a bit of a hit there. External also not looking too healthy, but they do still have those 2 bases. And that will give them an ever-growing
they've got
advantage.
a good comfort blanket here.
Yeah.
Yes. They've got a good blanket here. That's a comfort. And the Joker's got to make all the move. They know that.
Exactly. We have Whitetails moving in, probably to see who is there. And of course, base B is not going to be unprotected. He just doesn't know who's protecting it yet. And there he goes. Into the base. And now they kind of have to make... Oof, the grill got spotted and got hit for it. Losing a lot of HP very quickly with Ammo Rat actually moving in between to try and take that away. But now that also meant that base B has been capped. And that gives Jokers the advantage again.
Well, it does, but they're already at 700 Apex, so Jokers have still got to get tanked out the game or take that C-cap. And Assassin is hightailing it towards the C-cap area.
Yeah, but not
Slow
really though,
down now.
because in the time that Apex will get 250 points, Jokers will get 500. They have to keep their tanks alive though, and now we have Whitetails being pushed upon.
But now
Oof,
they're
but
taking the
Tommy-
C-cap, you see.
Whitetails is being pushed very harshly here. Assassin now moving in, potentially overextending. The grill is still there. Whitetails is out, but they have 3 bases now. So as long as they can keep their tanks alive and maybe take out a tank or 2, which Ammo
Looking
Rat...
for they'll be looking for Ammo Rat and Tommy if they can.
Yeah. And there we go, first tank gone. They're losing a lot of HP as well. Base B is contested. Base C is being taken again. Tommy is out for the count. Raindrop is still alive, if barely. 905 points with 2 bases. 955 points. Assassin
FD going down.
gets to go down indeed. Raindrop gets taken out as well.
Yaro's going to try and take out the grill here. And he does.
Yeah, 960 points. 970, unless they drive into base A,
Yeah.
which is not going to happen. There we go, Jokers has it. Jokers played beautifully. And I think they forced Apex into reactions that Apex couldn't execute as well as they would want to.
No, I think that's it. I think that's the crux there. I mean, it's always intriguing to see teams like Joker willing to sacrifice tanks to get a particular outcome. And
Yeah.
some of the you see a lot of teams do this, where they will send tanks into a position knowing that they're going to lose the tank, but just to get that particular outcome. And as you saw there, it's worked a charm. I mean, they've in all 3 games they've timed everything to not perfection, because as you say they lost a lot of hit points, etc., but almost to perfection because they're winning it on bases.
They're playing it very cleverly, and there's also a little bit of luck involved, in my opinion, because they're getting away with some things. But it is working out for them in the end. In this case, what I said before, high risk, high reward.
going to be set up for a interesting day tomorrow.
Absolutely. Because then we're starting it off with Rain versus Primo, and then whoever loses that gets to go up against Jokers. And if Jokers keeps playing like this, all bets are off.
Totally.
So let's see. I'm about to get my winner, so I'm going to wait just a little bit for that. In the meantime, I'm going to have a quick look at challenges to see what has gone on there. And we see that, oof, it's the Voidlings that have been knocked out.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
Expected.
Yeah, exactly. And not just, it was a 3-0. I'm kind of curious what happened there.
That is unexpected.
So tomorrow there, we have Rival versus PPS, and then whoever loses that versus Cosmonauts.
That is... I'm surprised with that, to be fair, yes.
Yeah. So massive commiserations to both Void and Apex, because Apex is out now as well.
They are, unfortunately for them.
Yeah. And
Apex, Apex... It's a shame, really, because Apex played really well during the PYS. They've been playing some good stuff, but today they were just outplayed. To be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I think they were mainly caught off guard a few times, and that didn't work out. And I mean, it's sort of like when someone pulls a rock out from under your feet, you can get back up, but of course you're going to be a little bit shaken. And you're going to question how your footing is. And I think, I'm not saying that is what happened with Apex, but I can imagine that sort of thing, that is what you go into the next battle with. And that is why it's always very comfortable to win that first battle. And why making a comeback can feel so incredibly good, because it does way more than just win that specific battle.
Yes. We've seen some great games tonight, to be honest, and there's some really good games indeed.
Absolutely. And that also means that the winners for the second giveaway are, let's see, M. Anoop, Quebec, J. Jaman, Plucky Pencil, and Captain Stingham. Bad name though. So congratulations to all the winners. Thank you so much for both Buttons and Joda for basically running the whole competition for me and verifying it and everything. Massive help for me, and I really appreciate it. And thanks everyone for watching. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow we will not be on my channel. We will be streaming this on Fudge's channel. So he will be your main host then. And for now, I wish you all a very good night. And see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Cheerio.